Good day, children, and welcome to another edition of Division. Today we're going to be talking about a variety of division problems that you may or may not have seen, but I'm going to show you how to evaluate them. So first we have 36 divided by 5. Now, this may look difficult and might be hard for you to solve, so what you can do is you can also write it like this. This is a little bit more familiar. We have 36 divided by 5, and we can write 36 divided by 5 just like that. So, and then we can evaluate it by doing what we've always done. How many times will 5 go into 3? It won't go, so we extend the line. How many times will 5 go into 36? It'll go 7 times. We know that 7 times 5 is 35, so we'll put our 35 down below here and do the subtraction. What is 36 decreased by 35? 1. Now, we've run out of numbers over here, and so what we can do is we can drop a decimal right there. Now, whenever we drop a decimal, we also bring down a 0. And if we bring down a 0, we now have 10. And we ask ourselves, how many times will 5 go into 10? 5 will go into 10 twice. 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 minus 10 is 0. And thus we have our first answer of 7.2. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Let's do another one right now. Okay, so what if you were to encounter a problem like this? 3.9 divided by 6. Well, not to panic, my friends, because you can write it like this as well. Let's put 3.9 in the house, as they call it, and let's put 6 on the outside. Now, just like our other problems, we're going to ask ourselves, how many times will 6 go into 3? I know that it won't go into 3, so I'm going to put a 0 right there, and I'm going to bring the decimal up. And now I can extend the line. How many times will 6 go into 39? Well, I know that 6 will go into 39 6 times. Why? Because 6 times 6 is 36. And so I put the 36 below the 39. And I do the subtraction. 39 decreased by 36 is 3. Now, I can bring down a 0 if I would like. And I would definitely like, because I want to continue. How many times will 6 go into 30? Well, I know that 6 will go into 30 exactly 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 decreased by itself is 0. And thus we have the answer to our next problem of 0.65, also known as 65 hundredths. But I know what you're saying. You're like, I haven't had enough. I need more examples. Will you please give me more examples, please? Well, the good news is yeah, I can do that. What if you have a weird-looking problem like this? 8 divided by 125. That's like writing 8 over 125. Or that's like writing 8 divided by 125. How do we evaluate this? Well, never fear, my friends. Your teacher is here. First, you ask yourself, how many times will 125 go into 8? It will go 0 times. It's too big. We can't make that happen, but we can put a 0, and we can put a decimal, and thus we can bring down another 0. And ask ourselves, how many times will 125 go into 80? Well, it's still not big enough. We have to put a 0 there, and we can bring down another 0 here. And we ask ourselves, how many times will 125 go into 800? Now, if you don't know offhand, what you can do is you can take 800 and divide it by 125. and I know that it will go at least 6 times. So I'm going to go ahead and place my 6 over here, and 6 times 125 is 750. So let me clean this up. 6 times 125 is 750, and so I put the 750 below the 800, and I do my subtraction. 800 decreased by 750 is 50. Now, I can continue to bring down zeros, and now I have 500. 500 will go into, 500 divided by 125 is exactly 4. 4 times 125 is 500. And now, if I subtract 500 from itself, I have nothing left over. Thus, I have an answer of 0.064, or 0 and 64 thousandths. Now, I know what you're saying. You're like, but can you give me another example? Well, you're in luck, my friends. Yeah, I got a few more examples up my sleeve I'm about to show to all y'all. If you made it this far in the video, good on you. Let's go ahead and do 3 more examples. So what if I had 1.36 and I wanted to go ahead and divide that by 16? Well, I could do it. You want to know how I could do it? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how I could do it. What you do is you go ahead and you put your 1.36 in the house, 1.36, and I put my 16 on the outside of the house. And then I very cautiously ask myself, how many times will 16 go into 1? It will not go into 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 right there. I'm going to bring my decimal straight up, and I'm going to extend the line. Now, how many times will 16 go into 13? It still won't go. So I'm going to put my 0 up top, and I'm going to extend the line. I'm going to extend the line. And now I have to ask myself, how many times will 16 go into 136? Well, finally, y'all, I have found something that 16 will divide into. I know that 16 will go into 136 at least 8 times. 8 times 16 is going to be 128. So I'm going to put my 128 right there. Now I'm going to clean this up because I got to do some subtraction right quick. So now I'm going to subtract 128 from 136. And if I do that subtraction, I get a lovely 8. That's right. Now, I can still bring down a 0, which I'm going to do. I'm going to bring down as many zeros as I want to. In this case, I have 80. Now, we all know that 80 is divisible by 16. The question is, by how much? Well, 16 will go into 80 5 times. 5 times 16 is 80. And 80 decreased by itself is 0. Now, I know what you're saying. You're like, I have not had enough. I need more mathematical examples. I don't want you to leave me. I don't want you to abandon me. You better give me some more mathematical examples. Well, guess what, child? I am ready to show you how to do another problem. So let's dive right into it. What if I were to try to divide these two numbers? 3.2 divided by 20. Well, the good news is I can write it like this, way you're familiar with. I can put 3.2 inside the house and 20 on the outside of the house. Now, same as I always do, I ask, how many times will 20 go into 3? It won't go, so I got to put a 0 right there, and I got to bring up my decimal. Now let's extend the line. How many times will 20 go into 32? Well, I know that it'll go once without going over, so let's go ahead and erase that, clean up our mess. I know that 1 times 20 is 20, and I know that 20 from 32 is 12. Now, I can keep bringing down zeros if I want to, and I have myself a 120. Now, the question is, how many times will 20 go into 120? Well, I know that 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. If I count by 20s, I know that I got to count by 20 6 times. So 6 times 20 is 120, and 120 decreased by itself is going to be 0. Now, the good news is we just solved another problem. The better news is we got one more to do. That's right, I got one more example up my sleeve just for y'all, and then I'm going to let you go. But let's go ahead and do one more example on how we do this. Next example, what if I had 42 and I were to divide it by 12? Well, that looks downright sketchy, so let's go ahead and write it like the way we're used to. Let's put 42 in the house, 42 right there, and 12 on the outside of the house. And now we're going to ask ourselves, about how many times will 12 go into 42? Well, let's count by 12s. 12, 24, 36. Looks like it's only going to go 3 times. So, well, I forgot to do my thing. How many times will 12 go into 4? It won't go. So we extend the line. And how many times will 12 go into 42? It's going to go 3 times. We know that 3 times 12 is 36. So we're going to put our 36 right there, and we're going to do our subtraction. I'm going to borrow right here, making that a 3, and that is now 12. And we know that 12 decreased by 6 is going to be 6. And that's it, because 3 minus 3 over here is just a 0. And now we can bring down a 0 as soon as I drop that decimal first. Let me drop the decimal right there, and now I can bring down a 0 here. And I can ask myself, how many times will 12 go into 60? Well, we know that 12 will go into 60. I don't know, count with me. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. We know that 12 will go into 60 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60, and 60 decreased by itself is 0. And so our answer is 3.5, affectionately known as 3 5/10. Now, I do hope this has been an instructional time for you. I hope you're feeling good about yourself and you feel all confident that you can tackle the math world, take it by the tail, and swing it around and solve all of its problems. If not, I'm sorry. I'll try harder next time. Take care, y'all.